I thought this was supposed to be about stocks. Where?
What's up, people? Thank you once again for everybody that's been subscribing to the website, growing each and every day. And listen, guys, if you are in this situation and if $200, and we've had a deal going on for $200 to the end of the year, that deal is going to be done. We extended it another month. We're giving everybody till next Friday, if you've already been in the room, to get your free trial going. We're extending that for another week, the guys that just joined up. If you haven't dipped your toe into the free trial, it is free. There's no obligation. We're never going to charge your credit card for anything. We're not going to do anything remotely bad to you. Just come and witness, because there's only one way to describe this FSLR trade: as monumental. Okay? We did a video on Stock Twitch. If you search Hit the Bid Radio, doing a little thing. I'm going to put my charts up on Stock Twitch as much as I can. I'm never going to use my real voice, so that's always me. I do a variety of different voices. Russian guy, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Christopher Walken sometimes. We do ghetto trading. We do confused Jew trading, which I guess is me all the time. But here's the thing. If you imagine yourself, you watched the video a couple of weeks ago and you loved FSLR, and I loved FSLR. We were buying it for the earnings report. We bought more at 18. We bought more in the break of 19.20. Bought a lot more at 22.12, and when it broke 22.19. I'm like an idiot savant. I don't use the charts. I use the specific prices of where these stocks have come from and when they're coming back. So we had a buy on FSLR. Now, if you just know I had a buy on FSLR and you bought that stock without actually coming to the room and seeing what we were doing in the room, you might still be in this stock blaming me, okay? But for the last 4 days, after it went over 24.80, I was saying how this is just overdone now. Any day now, it's going to give it back. And when these dead cats give it back, you get 15% smokings. You're getting hammered, absolutely lit up. What we were looking for the stock to do is, now I'm not going to say I called for a 4-point pullback, but I said if it breaks 22.19, the 22.19, 22.12 area, you're looking for a price of 20.82. And if it breaks 20.82, this thing might see 20 bucks. And here it did it all in one day. This is a microcosm of what this market may look like come September, when the money starts coming back and everybody wants to take profits. Take a look at the stocks that we were looking at. First, we have AIG. Okay, we did really well. Then we had DMND. Okay, FSLR, GMCR. The list goes on. Then we had the Mako, APKT, LOGM, CTRP. I'm going to post these up in the room. I'm going to post these up here if I can. The thing is, I like watching these dead cat stocks because when they do turn, the shorts are frightened and the stock really does do well. But you always have to remember why you're playing these stocks. Every once in a while, you're going to have an EQIX. EQIX. Take a look at that. Started out as an innocent buy in the 70s, looking for some dead cat action. Made it all the way back to 100. Next thing you know, it goes up another 100 points. Most of them are not going to work out like that. You're not going to be the guy that FSLR, you bought it at 18 bucks and you're going to ride it back to 50 or 100. Even if this stock finally does find some love down here at FSLR I'm talking about, even if it does, and if it does break out, is it really going to go to 30 or 40 or 50? The answer is sure. Why not? If the momentum comes back to it, like it had 2 weeks ago, the shorts will be frightened again, and we will love FSLR again. But now, trying to find a bottom on a stock after the bubble has been voiced, it's no point. The stock's in limbo right now. It could easily go back to 1912, then back to 18, maybe even 1750. But until it now bases out a little bit and gives us a little platform and gives it a little bit more of an indication of what's next, it's an avoid. We avoid the stock and we wait, because you know what? There's 1,000 more out there waiting for this. CTRP. And The most discouraging thing for a trader, okay, is to have a stock that you wanted to do something with, do it without you. And you think, oh, I'm never going to find another trade. Yesterday, after getting out of the Mako and the APKT and, not holding on to the full lot that I had originally on any of these trades, I start to think, I'm never going to find another one. And next thing you know, FSLR short to save the day. You do realize this thing has weekly options. Weekly options, trading at dimes, nickels, 20 cent, 30 cent. If you put up some money, the 24s were just 50 or 60 cents that are now trading at $3 or $4. What I'm trying to say is, let's go back to the original part of this conversation. There's no reason to hold stocks, short or long, for more than maybe a day or so. And if you do, remember, as I watched MCP just give it all back, you gotta be kidding me if you weren't short in MCP. A 20% move, 25% move off those lows. Now, I'm gonna do some investigation on MCP. The insiders were buying the shit out of the stock, and next thing you know, they release some news that makes the stock pop. I don't know. That seems like insider trading and some sort of illegality going on at MCP. Now, maybe they were just they had the foresight of saying, yeah, on April 28th, we're going to buy, we're going to do all our insider buys on April 28th. And then suddenly on April 29th, they release news. You can't tell me that wasn't, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? MCP, the insiders were buying huge amounts of blocks of stock. The next day there's released news. I don't know what to tell you on that one. Come on. Another short that we're looking at is this WLP, please. Gaps up 4 or 5 points on a CEO resignation. Please. It's a very difficult stock to trade, but I mean, there's no reason for this stock not to give back at least another buck and a half from here, 60 and a half. Take a look at that soda trade. Another one. Done. It's done. There's no even point in watching soda anymore. First of all of these stocks, 9 out of 10 of them will probably be down in the single digits eventually. FSLR, GMCR, soda. You really need a soda machine in your house? Still. But when the stock was going well and the shorts were getting scared, we were loving that stock on the long side. And now I could give a shit about it. I hate it. It's a short. They had this great earnings report, and it was up 5 points in the pre-market. It gave it all back and went negative. What does that tell you? That means nobody cares. Nobody cares about that stock anymore. Point is, please, don't be an investor. Don't be a swing trader. And if you're going to be a swing trader, okay, you got to do it with very minimal shares. And if you want to hedge yourself, that's when you've got to start looking at options to hedge yourself. Don't ever sell calls against your position. All it ever does is lock you into the position. All it ever does is lock you into that position. For instance, we had some guys, they bought some MCP and they sold $11 calls against it. Taking the glory out of that MCP call, buying it at $9.65, but selling an $11 call against it, basically just locked you in, so now you can't get out of the trade. You can get out, but now you're taking a loss on the $11 calls that you sold, and you just took money out of your own pocket on an incredible call. So if you're going to sell calls against your position, please make it positions that you're not just trying to trade, but you're deciding that you're going to hang on forever, and if you get called away, you don't care. But most of the time, all it's doing is limiting your losses, locking you into the trade, and if the trade goes wrong, you're not going to want to sell out, because if you sell the stock for the loss, next thing you know, you're naked that call. And then the worst possible scenario is the stock starts to go up without you, and now you're naked the call, so you're losing money. Don't sell calls against your positions. Please. It's just not worth it. All right, so in a nutshell, we have been just beating the shit out of this market. Whether or not, and again, don't And if you are in the room, if I'm only trading 300, 400 shares, it's not an indication of how much I love the position or don't love it. I'm just trying to trade enough to keep my energy level up. My ideas is what it's all about. The idea. The idea is what it's all about. All right, kids. Thanks again for everybody that's subscribing. And hopefully by the end of the year, we'll have a good 100 people in the room. Solid contributors. Women, men alike now are in the room. It's really coming together, and I'm real happy. We got Walken doing his thing. I got my VWAP kid in there. And each day we give mini seminars on charting. So if you want to sit back and you just want to learn, it's a great place to go. And if you want to sit down, have a conversation with me, and you've got some money that you want to put into the market, listen, if you're really that gung-ho about putting your money to work in this market, I could help you out. I mean, I know plenty of mutual fund, hedge fund managers. You want to buy some Chevron and you want to buy some Merck and Coca-Cola. I could put you in a couple of stocks. You get some Verizon in there, get some GE. You want some ways to sleep? My opinion, the night capital, the flash crash, the impending doom around the world, and the fact that U.S. Steel can't catch a bid just proves to me that there is no global recovery, there is no healthy economy out there, and we're just playing a shell game, smoke and mirrors, and eventually it's all going to catch up. The only thing that's keeping the market up is that it's completely disconnected from reality. But every once in a while, reality comes into play and then frightens the shit out of everybody, and then it gets oversold, and that's when it gets fun to buy stocks again. So the rotating door of psychoticness. It's all about just timing, and you must have heard that a million times, timing and discipline and liquidity. Just don't forget, you're not going to find the stock that's going to make the miracle comeback. If you're so blessed with a good trade in a stock like FSLR, you have to just take those profits. And we were taking profits all along the way. And of course, at $24, we're like, wow, we had a ton of this shit at 18, and we're upset about it. But at the same time, think about what today was. You could have made all the money back that you missed on the upside all in one day on some $24 puts, and you could have been laughing and giggling your ass off as everybody else who was sitting there going, what's going on with FSLR? I thought this was going to 30. And at one point, I think I made a call, FSLR to 50. I said, let me be the first to make the most absurd call, FSLR to 50. Because if you think about it, if you look on the chart, with some upward momentum and some more panicky shorts, this thing could easily get to $50. One more earnings report that's good, next thing you know, this is in the 30s. The shorts start to panic already. We've seen it a million times. But you know what? That's making predictions 3 months, 6 months down the road. I've got no clue. You tell me, I'm better at telling you what a stock's going to do in the next 10 minutes than what it's going to do 10 days from now, 10 months from now, and of course, a year or 3 years from now. No clue. No clue. We could be fighting hand-to-hand combat in the streets in 3 years from now. Fighting Red Dawn style. Fucking Patrick Swayze and shit. Wolverines! You don't know. Have a good weekend. Be safe. We'll be in the room tomorrow till about 11 o'clock. I could give a shit about Jackson Hole. I could care less about what they're saying in Europe, because you know what? My hands are clean, and we'll see how this all pans out on Tuesday. I'm looking for cues to retest those highs and then come back, and we'll do it all over again. And if what I just said is wrong, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to do whatever the market tells me to do. Again, thanks very much for hanging out with us.